Sup my dudes, Valkyrja, recording number 6. Hopefully I don't mess this one up and nothing goes wrong, because this video has been hell to make, but I want to talk about who I think is the best character in this banner. And no, it is not Luocha. It is actually Yukong. Yes, I do think Yukong is better than Luocha in terms of like who you want to have, because while Luocha is insanely good, like I'm going to make an entire video to Luocha and explain why he's so good. He's very, very good. He's easily the best abundance character in the game. He's easily a top 5, well, not easily a top 5, maybe like top 5 to top 7 character. He's up there. He's very, very good. But Yukong is by far easily a top 5, easily the best 4-star in the game. Yes, better than Ting Yong. Go ahead, fight me over it. I don't care. I have extensive play experience on both Ting Yong and Yukong. I have played Yukong a ton since she's come out. I've done all the simus. I've been grinding MOC. Well, the furthest I've ever gotten in MOC. Let me clarify. And yes, the Ting Yong here isn't built, but I have another account with Yangqing, Japard. You guys have seen it. Ting Yong was in that team all the way up until like I think like TV 50. I finally replaced her with something else. I do think Ting Yong's very, very, very good. Let me be upfront and honest with that. I do think she's very good, but I just think Yukong is that good. Like that's the point I'm trying to get across. Is there's a couple key differences. Yes, Ting Yong does energy regeneration and she does good damage on her normals thanks to one of her traces, but Yukong with her toughness shred, her damage buff, it's ridiculous damage buff, the fact that she's imaginary, and imaginary has one of the absolute best break effects in the game. This break effect is insanely good. Delaying the enemy's action, reducing its speed. There's been times where I've popped the break effect with Yukong, where I've like done imaginary break effect with them, and I've gone like 3 turns on each of my characters before they're out of it. This is an insane like type to be. Quantum is also like up there. Quantum is very, very good as well. But this is like a really strong break effect, and she's really good at applying it due to her talent. Her talent increases the toughness, reducing damage of this attack by 100%. Now, this can only be used every other turn. So you use her once, you have 1 turn downtime, use it again. And then we get into one complaint I've seen a lot of people have with her is the fact that she is not efficient on skill points, that she's very skill point hungry. And to that, I say, who isn't? Right? One of the best characters in the game, Bronya, is absolutely the most skill point hungry character in the game. She's going to take your main character, give them another turn forward, increase their damage, do all sorts of good stuff, give them buffs, cleanses. A very, very strong character. In my opinion, Bronya is probably the second best character in the game. If you guys are curious, in order, my top 5 are Welt. Well, not top 5, just top 4 is confirmed for me right now. But it's Welt for sure, Bronya, Silverwolf, and then Yukong. That's, in my opinion, my top 4. Say what you will. I don't care. It's my opinion. But she has something very similar. Like all these characters use skill points, but she also wants the normal attack. Because she always wants a normal attack, it's very dependent on who you place her with, whether or not she's skill point hungry or not. If you place her with Seela, where she's going to want to be constantly buffing Seela and letting Seela do her thing, yeah, she's going to be using a lot of skill points because Seela is going to want to constantly eat that buff up because Seela is very, very fast. There's going to be downtimes whenever you don't really have a good target, act like ready for her skill to buff up her massive attack increase. You don't really have a good target for it. Like you have your healer and a tank lined up or something like that, and there's not really a good target. You're just not going to use it. You just normal attack. Now, as far as relics go, my recommendation, build her as a damage. Build her pure damage. You can build her a multitude of ways. You can build a break effect because we've been over why her break is so good. You can build her break effect. You can build her imaginary damage. You can build her cowboy. You can build her so many different ways. There's so many ways to build this character. It's super flexible. Whenever it comes to Planar set, you can run Fleet of the Ageless. You can run Space Sealing Station. You can run the break effect one if you're actually doing that. I forget what it is. It's like Pan-Galactic or something like that. But you can run all sorts of different stuff on her. She's very, very flexible in terms of relics. It all depends on how you're wanting to use her. She's very, very good. As far as Eidolons go, I'm going to be real. You don't really need any. E0 is perfectly fine, but E1 is insanely good. This is a very, 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 very strong E1. E6 is really good for extending her rowing bowstring stacks, so that's a really good one to have as well. As far as light cones go, well, traces obviously you should, get them all up, and the most important one is easily her skill. Her skill is very, very important to get up high. I'm probably going to actually invest and try to get her completely maxed because I think she's that good. But Traces obviously should try to max everything out. Light cones, the Battle Pass light cone is what I'm using on her. Harmony, unfortunately, does not have a lot of really good 4-star options. They're pretty much the Battle Pass light cone or the 5-star Bronya light cone are really the good ones. Outside of that, there's not really like any crazy ones. You could have like this one's pretty good, Past and Future could do something. Planetary Rendezvous. This one is kind of because we don't really have like full imaginary teams yet. However, if you do have a bunch of imaginary characters, if you have Welt, if you plan on getting Gigadan, etc., this could be a very good option as well if you plan on running an imaginary team. This team, that could be a good option, but unfortunately, just Harmony in general doesn't have a lot of good, very good 4-star light cones. That's just the situation they're in. Now, I assume that's going to get better with time. It's just a time thing, so maybe in the future there'll be a lot better ones. But for right now, you just kind of want to use what you have with the light cone. But like I said, in the end, you want to build her more towards damage. So here, let me talk about MOC real quick, because a lot of you guys will get a good laugh out of this. My account is terrible. I don't think I need to tell you why, and I can literally just click this and show you why. See all these level 80s, see all these level 70s. You want to know where my resources went? It didn't go to relics, I can tell you that much. I don't have very good relics. So my characters just aren't good. They don't hit very hard, which is where Yukong comes in, because Yukong on terrible relics helps my terrible characters do really good damage. And because of that, I went from only 2-starring MOC1. Yes, that was the best I did, was 2-star. No, actually, I think I was able to beat MOC2 with 1 star before. So that was the absolute best I did. Yes, I know it's funny. TB65 player, haha, terrible relics, terrible characters. Yes, I know. I'm going to work on the relics once I, level up all my characters, and I'm doing things in a very weird way for content. But in the end, she was able to take me from doing that to doing this. And now I could probably clear this. I probably could, but I just got really annoyed at how tanky these things were, right? At how tanky all these were. And I was like, let me just go and work on Yangqing before I come back. So I'm probably going to build Yangqing up before I try MOC6. Like, actually get him some good relics, get him, like, playable. And then try that. But I could probably beat it. I don't know if I could 3-star it, though. That's the thing. I want to 3-star it. So, I digress. Anyways, Yukong goes with a multitude of characters. She kind of goes with everybody. It's just how you use her is going to vary on who you're playing her with, right? The team I'm going to showcase today is going to be this team right here. We're going to have you. It doesn't matter which order. Normally it does matter, but each character here pretty much has equal aggro. But if you use her with Seele can absolutely abuse the ever-living hell out of her buffs. Like, abuse it like no tomorrow. Seele is able to abuse the ever-living hell out of Yukong's buffs, and that's a very, very big deal. Because Yukong has some super strong buffs. But Yukong goes well with literally any damage once you understand how it works. Because I've gone over her skill enough, I've gone over her ult enough, I'm not going to explain what they do for like the 16th time. But basically, if you pop her skill, you pop her ultimate, you see the little 2 dots underneath her like face. If you pop other ultimates during that time while her ultimate has done and she still has those 2 dots under her face, under her icon, she basically is going to buff that ultimate to the high heavens. So characters with strong single target ultimates like Seele or Yangqing are going to absolutely nuke. Dan Heng even, Gamba Girl could also be a very good option. Literally anybody that's able to take advantage of it. Jing Yuan, if you have it where it lines up right and you time it right to where Lightning Lord is going after Yukong, like you have Yukong and then immediately after is Lightning Lord, if you manage and time that right, you can use Yukong's buff to buff up Lightning Lord to the high heavens as well. It's kind of wonky, same with Clara, like Jing Yuan and Clara are kind of wonky, they're not consistent because it depends on your speed tuning and all sorts of stuff. But whenever you pair her with characters where like a lot of their damage is packed behind a very powerful ultimate, like Seele, and my Seele is terrible. I don't know if it's going to let me show you. My Seele is absolutely terrible. So before we get into this, you'll see how bad my Seele is. Like 2400 attack, relics here, 8, and then all level 4 relics, and then traces. She has some level 4 traces, a level 6 ultimate, Yeah, she's just not, you know, not the best, but we're working on that, right? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But I want to showcase what I want to show you guys what she's going to be able to enable this team to do, and it's a lot. It's a lot of damage, and especially whenever you actually use Seela to abuse this buff, it's just wacky the amount of damage that she can properly output, and it's why I consider her better than Luocha inside the banner. And now keep in mind, she's free. Like, I'm not doing this to get you guys to pull on Yukong. I'm doing this as my genuine thoughts on Yukong. I genuinely believe she's this good. So I'm going to showcase that now by showing off her talent. Her talent lets her start off the fight with some Roaring Bowstring stacks. We're going to get Luocha's healing going right away in case we take some damage. Then we're going to do this. And we're going to start with Roaring Bowstring stacks because of the way she works. So now we're going to be in a very good situation where I'm going to be able to showcase to you guys exactly how she works. Here we can see Luocha goes first, and you see here these two dots under Yukong, right? What these two dots mean is that Silverwolf is going to get a stack. Yukong, I can use Yukong to refresh it, or I can use Kong to weakness break. And here I think I'll probably use Yukong to weakness break, because even if I refresh it, Seela can get it here, but you really want to try to time it for when Seela has her ultimate. So I'm going to try to apply imaginary here on them, and then I'm going to use Yukong's normal. Look, this is what the skill did. This is what Silverwolf's skill did, right? This is what Yukong's normal is doing. Yukong's normal is doing a little bit more, if not the exact same amount, and then you can see how much Luocha's normal does. It doesn't do anywhere near what Yukong's did. That little extra bit of toughness is going to add up so much, so tremendously as we go on. So here we're going to just try to get Seela's ultimate. We're going to keep it pushing, keep stuff moving. We could ult here, but we're just going to apply Quantum to you, and then we're going to go back, and now we're going to go ahead and cast this buff and just get ready, because here we're going to have a pretty big turn, I want to say. So we're going to go ahead and, yeah, let's try to nuke. Let's see if we can go ahead and get the nuke going. We're going to pop Silverwolf here to go ahead and get a debuff. Try to stack some debuffs on him. You can see all the debuffs getting ready to proc. We're going to go ahead and do this now and buff up the crit rate, crit damage, because we're going to try to abuse the ever-living hell out of this. So we are going to do Luocha just normal, and then we're going to try to do this. We're going to mash this just in case we don't get the reset. We got the reset anyways, so we should be able to get a whole bunch of damage out here. Yeah, you can see exactly what I mean. And if you look, you can see she's getting this reset. She also has another reset lined up, and she still has the Roaring Bowstring stacks active. So even if that didn't like do everything, I was able to abuse that fully. Like fully abuse the ever-living hell out of that. It's something that you can do pretty like repetitively. It's something that you can constantly repeat. We'll go ahead and do it here again. This is just MOC 1, so don't be too crazy, but you got to understand that 61k ult from Seela, my Seela normally hits like 12k. She's that bad. Like, my Seela is terrible, but Yukong's so broken, she's able to make my Seela look decent. My terrible, terrible Seela look decent. I've talked about so many times how I've seen my Seela hitting for 8k on an ultimate, and people are like, haha, funny, and they think I'm joking. Like, here, we're going to have Yukong's buff active. This is going to be kind of like the exact same play loop we're kind of looking at. We're just going to do this for the imaginary break because we have that active. We're going to go ahead and break you and get that rolling. And then we're going to try and break you. So now we have another situation to where we are going to want... We want Silverwolf's buff active. We want all this stuff active. So we're kind of just going to let ourselves get hit a couple times by using this, or she can just stop hitting us entirely. But now is perfect, because now I get to show you exactly what my Seela's normal damage looks like, which is something that I normally don't get to show people because I'm using Yukong normally to buff. So let's look at what Seela's normal damage looks like. She doesn't have any buffs here. Yeah, she doesn't really have anything going for her here. So let's just see what the normal damage looks like. What's it look like? Let's see. 6k. So what's her normal ult look like? Once again, this is getting a resurgence buff, but it's kind of impossible to not do it without resurgence buff because resurgence activates it. So what's her normal ultimate look like? Let's see. what is, like, without Yukong buff, without all this other stuff, 19k. So from 19k to 61k, do you see why I'm, like, shilling this unit this hard? Like, I normally wouldn't shill a unit as hard as I am Yukong, but the reason I'm doing it is because of how strong Yukong is. Yukong is genuinely just that strong. So here I'm going to try to get everything set up again. I'm going to try to get some ultimates going. Let's just go ahead and activate this. That way I can get a stack of this, so if anybody gets below 50%, I can just go ahead and start activating his passive healing, which is really, really nice. I really do. I really like Luocha. Luocha's so good. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do this. We're just kind of building up, yeah, we're just kind of building stuff up at this point. We're going to activate the passive healing. And now I think if I do this right, I believe we can just pop. So let's go ahead. Let's do this. We're going to do this first because I don't really care about Silver Wolf's damage, but I do care about Yukong's damage. So Yukong should hit decently hard here, right? Yeah, 13k, and then we have 33k on the skill. 33k on the skill, 60k on the ultimate. Whenever you saw she was doing, what was it? Like 8k on the skill and then 18k on the ultimate? Yeah, no, Yukong's busted. Anyways, that's the video. Hopefully this convinces you guys to at least build her, give her a shot. I think Yukong's one of the absolute best units in the game, bar none. And if you use characters that can abuse the hell out of that buff, like Sela or Dan Hang or any hunt character, basically, any character with strong single target abilities is going to abuse the hell out of that buff. But it works literally with anybody. You just have to understand how to time it. You just want to constantly balance between using her talent and using her buff, and God, she's so good. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have good luck on your summons. Hopefully you guys got lucky, and if you guys haven't summoned yet, hopefully get a couple copies of Yukong, because God, she's so good. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.